us to the edge. Everyone that can fight already is. And we're still losing.
Coming from a team of veterans who were previously working on Dead Space and Call of Duty games, a few of them actually, well, as a first game ever, from a pretty small team too, number one we have Immortals of Avalon. Immortals of Avalon is a first-person magic shooter like the Heretic games in genre, and a next-generation console exclusive actually. Only a few hours ago, through the Summer Game Festival, we got a full Unreal in-game footage, which was crazy, and that finally, the game is coming out in July 20.
Get to the control room and protect Selco. Zendara and I will hold off the Rashanians down here.
Got it. Gotta get to the control room.
No choice. The root will destroy everything. For all.
Number 2 is once again Remnant 2, sequel to the horror hit I'm pretty sure most of you know, Remnant from the Ashes. But for those of you who missed it at the Game Awards last year, this is a series of third-person Souls-like horror shooting games, like a little bit in the same style of the Evil West that came out a few months ago, but more of a shooter than a melee action game, and also then set into an open world. Anyway, Remnant 2 is on its way to all consoles, even Switch, finally, July 25.
Ace really is getting pulled back 3 years into the past. Back to 2014, right before the Stratovator fails.
Number 3 we have Exorb Primal. Here with a new trailer, this is also a dinosaur survival co-op multiplayer at heart by Capcom, where your main goal is to just complete certain missions, albeit with just dinosaurs all around the place. It's mostly a survival game, like the old Dino Crisis franchise, albeit this takes place online and in 5 versus 5 matches. And also then set about 20 years into the future, where our planet's been through some dinosaur crisis. Anyway, the game is now coming to PCs and to both generation of consoles as well in July 14.
In the island. In the best.
announced a tad over a year ago by Telltale Games as one of the biggest TV to gaming ports ever. I mean, technically since the gameplay dropped last month, we've got over here the Expanse, which is finding life in the gaming industry with not just Telltale coming over as a developer, but Deck 9, the same folks who were in charge of Life is Strange games, collaborating. Anyway, Expanse to Telltale is an adventure game that acts as a prequel to the TV series and now finally releasing on July 27.
In and out. No games.
Time to see what all the fuss is about.
We've been locked.
Don't these Pashangwalas rest?
What do you think we should do?
There is no good option. Whatever you choose will be wrong, and it's your job to choose.
When you find what's at the other end of those coordinates, the whole system will be on your ass.
What are you waiting for?
Stations! On my word, loose a PDC volley, then turn and burn.
Just like series. Only this time no dolls to keep you on the leash, yeah?
I hope that my actions on this ship can offer some amends for my past.
Whatever this treasure is, the one thing we know is that it will change everything.
So are you going to spend the rest of your oxygen feeling sorry for yourself? Or are you going to get to work?
It meant his vision for our country. But when they took him, they robbed us all of that dream.
Next up by THQ Nordic as one of the biggest updates of the Game Awards from last year, it is the Jagged Alliance 3, a series of strategy games that go back to more than 25 years ago. It's a tactics turn-based RPG strategy like the Warhammer game, the Tactics, where you play and choose instead mercenaries. Anyway, Jagged Alliance 3 is coming to PCs only July 14.
To your location to Grand Chien. How may we be of service?
I am Emma Lafontaine. I want my father back.
Understandable, Miss Lafontaine.
How would this work, exactly?
First step is to hire a team. Then, they get to work.
D3, the publishers, actually released a new trailer on Ed Zero Zombie Uprising, a survival roguelike action shooter that's been in the works since, I've heard, 2 years ago, but apparently since last year, and that the game is now coming out for PCs in the next generation of consoles only July 13, fully. Because, well, technically the game has been around for a year now through early access. For those of you who are new here, y'all, I hope, remember the game Shiren, a 2D one actually. It's technically that in premise, it's just set in a different setting with 3D graphics and more of a inventory management stuff. Check it out in case you missed it. The Ratchet & Clank franchise just now celebrated its 20th anniversary, and thank God, they finally got a solid release for the game of July 26, so the game is now coming to PCs, and it actually went on to showcase some NVIDIA supported with ray tracing and everything in there for the PC port. It's a third-person shooter platformer for those of you new, kind of a physics-based game with a touch of multiverse in there, and story actually. Now ready for pre-purchase for the PC version for $60. Take a look.
Are we home?
And the rest is intergalactic history.
Is that a rift?
Just those stupid love boxes!
I've fought a long time to win our galaxy back.
Someone call for backup?
Your campaign of destruction, cruelty, and wanton snobbery is over! Ratchet!
Of the Reverie Corridor. Its function is to present trials, allowing you to cultivate the strength to overcome great distortions in your destiny.
NIS America just released a new trailer for The Legend of Heroes: Trails into Reverie. I would have to say introducing a lot of the characters, some new parts of the game world, but more importantly said the game is coming to PCs, Switch and the PlayStation consoles only, July 7 this year. This is a Japanese, pretty original, JRPG originally, that was first released in 2020 and actually follows the story of Trails from Zero, Azure and Boundless Trails, all of them. Check it out in case you missed it, if you're interested.
Leave it to me!
Magical girl Elisa LS. Magical Excel Spark.
It's time to play. If you dare. Question 1.
Food process complete.
There!
This blows.
You're finished!
Let my guard down.
Hold on tight!
And off we go. I'd say it went all right.
Good enough for me.
Before he went rogue. We intercepted comms chatter referring to neurosynaptic tech, but they've gone dark.
Coming as a exclusive now, roguelike action as of a few days ago, we've got over here Synapse coming to the PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation 5 and PC VR on July 7 this year. Guys, Synapse is a action shooter, to some extent the physics-based sim, not really a sim, definitely inspired by super hot games, albeit with more realistic graphics, some mind-blowing gun and shooting physics, and one hell of a soundtrack too. Game's releasing on July 4 this year.
Oh, come on then. Let's see what you're made of. Impressive. I'll admit, you made a good team on the battlefield. But don't forget it. This is my mind, my war, my rules.
I need you to focus. The clock is ticking. You have to adapt.
Back again? Pathetic! Your heroics mean nothing!
You're getting close. You're approaching the center of his subconscious.
You think you're a threat to me? I'll never talk! They'll never break me!
Riley? Riley, are you there? Riley, come in. Can you hear me?
Number 10, it is the sequel to the one and only indie hit, Oxenfree, finally coming over to PCs and the PlayStation consoles on July 12. Lost Signals here, which is technically following the events of the first game, now places you in the role of Riley, who returns to her hometown because some magnetic force has been causing some problems around home, where you then realize it's about a cult outside the city, the village, trying to open a portal. I mean, if that's not a good premise, I don't know what. Anyway guys, the game is coming out on July 12th. Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening, however, an original Japanese port that came out precisely last year is now finally coming over in English and for PCs and the PlayStation 4 only. Koei actually released a new trailer for it, introducing some new war tactics, the castle support, in addition to the English version of the things around. It's a real-time strategy for those of you who knew that from almost 4 years ago when it was started on the Atari. Take a look. Very well. Number 12, it's the old over-the-top retro shooter Turbo Overkill. The game is now coming over to technically all consoles on July 18. To accompany the good news, we got a trailer out of the Summer Game Festival just now, and boy, it's a thrill to just watch it itself. Specifically if you're a gory FPS, it's almost a mix of Doom, the old one, Shadow Warriors, the melee one, and Cyberpunk, with retro visuals of course, kind of. Check it out in case you missed it.
Right here.
Push as much as you can. Copy.
And come July 31st, we'll have hands on the second officially licensed Formula 1 management game, F1 Manager 2023. Now, I'm not sure, but apparently letting you take control of any team. It's a racing sim based game at its core, with this new element called scenario-based mode, where the player gets to pick a team and take part in a full experience from start to finish of a Formula 1 competition. That is the racing, the adjusting, choosing a driver, repairing, and then everything in between. Check it out.
Opportunities. I'm driving. Push and hold, overtake. And push now, maximum push now.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Good one for the team. Well done, everyone.
A fantastic result for McLaren there. Stay right here, because we're just getting started. Let's go!
Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragon, will now launch for Switch, PCs, PlayStation consoles, and Xbox consoles into both generation even, July 27. I've said it before, but if you missed it, this new Double Dragon Gaiden, well, kind of a remake, is a co-op beat-em-up, just like the old original games, featuring tag team duos of fighters infused with roguelike elements. Well, with the aim to deliver a classic Double Dragon style brawl with more characters, better graphics, and a lot more. Take a look.
Gotcha! Out of my way!
A waste of good beer. Me, I called it another day in bloody paradise.
And last but not least, from the same developers of First Class Trouble, the PC game, we have here Broken Roads. Broken Roads is a narrative-driven RPG that brings exploration, that's how it's described, brings exploration, strategic turn-based combat, and what the creators promised, meaningful philosophical choices to an all-new Australian post-apocalyptic setting. You'll see in a second. Here's the announcement trailer. The game is now sitting on Steam through a demo and set to be coming out fully in about a month. Check it out.
The brewers, the protectors, and the builders. The people who keep this great land connected, one town at a time. So you survive. You make do. You live with tough choices and you don't look back. Because the next